Hello, class. Have you ever wondered why an elephant always gives birth only to a baby elephant and not some other animal? Or why a mango seed forms only a mango plant and not any other plant? Given that they do, are the offsprings identical to their parents, or do they show differences in some of their characteristics? Have you ever wondered why siblings sometimes look so similar to each other or sometimes even so different? These and several related questions are dealt with scientifically in a branch of biology known as genetics. Gregor John Mendel, father of the genetics. It was during the mid 19th century that headway was made in the understanding of inheritance. Gregor Mendel conducted hybridization experiments on garden pea for 7 years and proposed the law of inheritance in living organisms. During Mendel's investigation into inheritance patterns, it was for the first time that statistical analysis and mathematical logics were applied to problem of biology. He took different contrasting characters which were present in the pea plant, such as the size of the plant or the height of the plant, tall or dwarf. The characteristic feature in case of the pea was having the contrasting character, meaning that the plant will be either tall or it will be a dwarf plant. There is nothing like in between or medium sized plant. So this type of the characters which were taken, for example, seed shape, round or wrinkled, color of the seed, yellow or green. When he took only the one character, that type of the crosses when he made in hybridization experiments were known as monohybrid crosses. Suppose in this particular example, the parental or the pea generation, one of the parent is having the tall character and another is having the dwarf character. When these two plants, they were crossed artificially, the anther pollen grains, although you know that it is having the self-pollination characteristics, but artificially they were crossed and grown. The F1 or the first filial generation was obtained from the pure breeding parents, and in this F1 generation, he found that all the plants, whatever be the number they are grown, are tall plants. None of the plant was a dwarf plant. Mendel conducted such artificial pollination, cross-pollination experiments using several true breeding pre-lines. True breeding means the parents are having either the pure tall character or the dwarf character. In this way, he selected 7 characters. For example, size of the plant, tall or dwarf, position of the flower, axial or terminal, color of the flower, violet or white, color of the pod, green or yellow, color of the seed, yellow or green, shape of the seed, round or wrinkled, during his experiments, approximately 14 true breeding pea plant varieties as pairs which were similar except for one character with contrasting traits. Some of the contrasting traits selected were smooth or wrinkled seed, tall or the dwarf plant. Now, during the monohybrid cross, when the parental generation was having the pure breeding characters, during the first filial generation, all the plants were tall. There was no dwarf character. But when the selfing is being done between those tall plants of F1 generation, it was found that 3 of them were having the tall character, while only one is having the dwarf character. Actually, these characters you can see physically. So they are known as phenotypic characters, and which are present genetically, which you don't know, those are known as the genotypic ratio. Here in the monohybrid crosses, the phenotypic character or the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. That is 3 tall plant and 1 short plant. And there is no blending, meaning that there is no medium sized plant. And one more important thing is the tall plants which were coming from the F1 generation, they were not showing any dwarf character, but now this dwarf character is present, showing that there is segregation of the characters. The characters do not mix. There is no such blending of the characters. Only thing is that one of the character is able to express itself, another is not able to express itself. But as soon as the homozygous condition is coming, they are able to express themselves. So the character which was able to express itself, for example in that case character of tallness, and in this case the green pod color, or any character which is able to express itself, that is known as the dominant character. And the character which is being suppressed by the dominant character during the F1 generation, that is called your recessive character. So if you take the example of tall and dwarf, the tall character was able to express itself during the F1 generation, while the dwarf character is being suppressed. So this tall character is called the dominant character, and the suppressed dwarf character is called the recessive character. So in the pure breeding you are getting the tall plant, and but when you are going for the F2 generation, when you are doing the selfing of the F1 generation progeny, then you are getting dwarfness disappeared, but it reappeared in the F1 generation, F2 generation. F1 generation, no dwarfness. F2 generation, dwarfness reappeared, showing that there is no mixing of the character or the blending of the character. So that is called law of segregation. It is considered to be by the DNA, by the later scientist, not by the Mendel, because Mendel was not having any type of the microscope. His all the calculations were mathematical calculation, whether it is about the tall character or the dwarf character. So all those characters which are dominant, they are represented by the capital letter, while the characters which were recessive were expressed by the small letter. So in this case, for the tallness, capital T, capital T. For the dwarfness, small t, small t. But when you are getting the blending of it in the F1 generation, or you are getting a character tall, but this time it is capital T and small t, because one is able to express itself, another is not able to express itself. When it is capital T, it is called homozygous dominant. When it is a small t and a small t, it is known as homozygous recessive character. But when it is capital T and small t, it is known as heterozygous tall plant. Now, this position of the chromosome showing that the character are present on the same locus. These chromosomes are from two different parents. One is having the tall character, another is having the dwarf character. They are present together on the same locus. But this was explained later on. According to the Mendel, he gave the term factors. There are some factors which are causing this character. He was not able to explain what was that factor. He has not given any name to those factors because he was not having any good microscope at that time. So the result actually he was getting capital T, that is homozygous tall plant, capital T small t heterozygous tall plant, and small t homozygous dwarf plant. So here the monohybrid cross, the phenotypic ratio is 3:1 because he is getting 3 tall plant and 1 dwarf plant. But the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1 because 1 homozygous tall plant, 2 heterozygous tall plant, and 1 homozygous recessive plant. Capital T and small t both were homozygous, and capital T small t is heterozygous. So according to law of dominance, in heterozygous condition, the factor which is able to express itself is called the dominant character, and which is being suppressed by it is called the recessive character. According to law of segregation, in the F2 generation, when you are doing the selfing of F1 generation progeny, there is no mixing or blending of the characters. The character of dwarfness or the recessive character, which was not able to express during the F1 generation, gets separated during the F2 generation, and when it comes in homozygous recessive condition, it is able to express itself properly. So there is no blending or mixing as per Mendel's law. All these laws given by the Mendels were applicable for these particular 7 characters only. They were made, or they were not universal. All these characters were following whether law of dominance or law of segregation are for this particular P plant contrasting trait. Remember this. In a monohybrid pure line cross between parents with contrasting traits, only one form of the trait, that is the dominant form, appears in the F1 generation, and both forms appear in a ratio of 3:1 in the F2 generation. F1 generation, only the dominant character you can see is able to express itself. So when you are dealing with the inheritance of only one character, that is known as your monohybrid character. And P generation means parental generation. F1 generation means filial progeny, first filial progeny or the first hybrid generation. F2 generation means second filial progeny or the second hybrid generation. The importance of the P plant was easy to grow, can be grown in the lab condition. The results you will get very quickly within a year, and most important, the P plant is having contrasting characters. No blending or no mixed character was found in case of P plant. He started with 34 characters but ended with only 7 characters. Now see the given diagram. Parent tall plant, you are getting both the side capital T, small t, because one of the parent is tall, another parent is the dwarf one. The result is having capital T, small t, that is the heterozygous tall plant in the F1 conditions, which results into 3:1 ratio of monohybrid cross, because now they are having the 2 different type of gametes. The male gamete is also having capital T, small t, another is also having capital T and a small t, and when you crisscross them, this type of the method, when you are getting the progeny by crossing the different. The way of writing this type of the method is called the criss-cross method. Later on, another scientist, Reginald C. Punnett, he gave a Punnett square to get the result. It is because when you are taking more than one character, like in case of a dihybrid cross, when you will take two characters and you will have the 16 progeny, then in that case criss-cross method is very haphazardly done way. There you will have the Punnett square, where one side you are writing the character or the gametes of the one parent and another side you are writing the gametes of the another parent. In this case, the result is exactly same that of the criss-cross, but it is much more better and neat method. For the other crosses also it can be used. In between the cross you are getting the characters, genotypic characters, so that you can take out easily the phenotypic ratio also and the genotypic ratio also. Capital T of one parent is written in that way, and then another small t and small t on the other side, the two places meant for the gamete position. For both the parents, and then the cross were made capital T with small t, you are getting capital T small t, then capital T small t, then capital T small t and capital T small t. This is for the F1 generation, where pure breeding parents are being crossed. Pure line parents are there, having the homozygous tall character and homozygous dwarf character. And all you are getting, all the progeny, they are having the same tall character phenotypically, but genotypically now they are heterozygous. There is no homozygous condition left. When you go for the F2 generation, you are doing the selfing, so you will take the progeny, two progeny from the first generation, that is both the parent will have capital T and small t and capital T and small t, that is the heterozygous condition. And when you are crossing these two, so capital T, you will get capital T and capital T, that is the pure line or the homozygous tall plant in the first square. So in both the cases, the capital T is also having 50% chance of pollinating, and small t as well as having the 50% chance. But here if you'll see, you are getting three tall plants, but their genotype is different. Now the next one, when you are writing small t and capital T when you are crossing, but you will first write the dominant character, that is the capital one, not the small one. This was a method chosen by the Mendel. You have to remember that the scientists followed certain rules, and we have to go through it. There is no such question ki why he has written this T small and why he has not taken any other character. It was his choice, he has taken that, and we have to follow that. So here you can see that although in the parental character you will see there is no pure or homozygous tall plant, or there is no homozygous dwarf plant, that is capital T and small t both are missing. But when you are getting the progeny, when you are crossing them, you are getting both the capital T homozygous condition and both the small t homozygous recessive conditions. So resulting into law of segregation, that is no blending, no mixing of the characters. 1/4 Random fertilization led to formation of homozygous tall plant. Half random fertilization led to tall plant but having the capital T small t characters genotype. So their ratio is, phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. 1 capital T, 2 capital T small t, 1 small t small t. That is 1 homozygous dominant character. Heterozygous dominant characters are 2 and 1 homozygous recessive. So these are the two laws of Mendel's, law of dominance and law of segregation. You have to make notes, study it hard because they are the basis for genetics. Several other characters they were explained later on which were not following the laws of Mendel's, which you will study in the later cases. But the most important thing, they form the basis for so many other characters. The transfer of the disease in the human study, the genetics of the humans, also it is being used to have it. The characteristic feature was Mendel was not having much more or facilities, rather you can say. The work of Mendel and others who followed him gave us an idea of inheritance pattern. However, the nature of those factors which determine the phenotype was not very clear, as these factors represent the genetic basis of inheritance. Understanding the structure of genetic material and the structural basis of genotype and phenotype, conversion become the focus of attention in biology for the next century. The entire body of molecular biology was a consequent development with major contribution from Watson Crick, Nierenberg, Khorana, Korenbergs, Benzer, Monod, Brenner, etc. Indians were knowing all these methods from before 8000 to 1000 BC, that one of the causes of variation was hidden in sexual reproduction. Artificial selection and domestication from ancestral wild cows. The Indians were knowing about the breeding practices. But the problem was that there is nothing in the documented form, and that they had very little idea about the scientific basis of these phenomena. Thank you. Have a nice day.